Call line is open. All right. I had some time, extra time today, so I figure I'll go on live with you guys real quick. It's like a version of Survivor. Interesting. Well, hey, Stem says, Ray, I swear you've been everywhere. You got to remember, I was on the run. You got to remember. So I couldn't stay in one place at one time too long. So one of the countries I went to was Canada. And I was in Canada for about 3.5 years. Ontario, Toronto, and Ottawa. Around those areas. So I would go back and forth from there sometimes to Michigan, because Detroit is right across the bridge from Windsor, Canada. And then when I left Canada, I went to Buffalo, because Buffalo's right there. That was how I ended up in Buffalo. I lived right on the borderline of East Buffalo and Cheektowaga. I was right there in the hood, pretty much. Right there on the borderline of East Buffalo and Cheektowaga. So you Buffalonians know what I'm talking about. I was living right off of, what is it called? Genesee, East Genesee or Genesee? Right by the Family Dollar store. Okay. So Turtle Islanders, we vote our favorite YouTube channels, or we vote the ones we don't like. Oh, okay, all right. That actually sounds interesting. And I'm pretty sure probably the ones with a lot of followers probably do get a lot of votes too. Yes, Julia, she's right. Make sure you guys smash that like button. So Cal, you better vote for me. You better vote for me. Yes, Genesee. So you know I was there. Like I said, I was right on the corner of East Buffalo and Cheektowaga. If I walked out my place and walked to the right, I can get shot. And if I walked out this place and went to I will be fine. Oh. But anyways, we got news that, I guess this is new information, guys. Nancy Guthrie could be in Mexico. We got information Nancy Guthrie could be in Mexico. You're in Amherst? I know where Amherst is at. Know exactly where Amherst is at. Said turn up your phone. Hey, so Callie, are you high? So Callie be getting high. So you gotta watch her, because she be getting high. She be having a good time over there. Stem says, I said that day one. You know, I don't want to say I said this day one. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say anything about, but. Nina says, I heard them is searching for a while. Let's watch this real quick. Let's see what this says. Let's see what this says, because, yeah. I have been saying that for a while, that I think day two, I think maybe is when I said that. Maybe day two. I don't think my first video I said that. Maybe. I got to go back and look, actually.
New developments tonight in the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, more than 4 months after she disappeared from her Tucson home. Volunteers in Mexico say they received a tip about where her remains could be. 12 News reporter Maria Stobbs is here with the latest. Maria?
Mark, that's right. This search group regularly looks for missing people, and they've helped find the remains of dozens of people in the Nogales area. But this is the first time they've received a tip that specifically mentioned Nancy Guthrie.
That is a lie. I'm going to tell you guys right now, that is a lie. You know how I know it's a lie? You want to know how I know that's a lie? I've submitted 2 tips myself a long time ago saying Mexico across the border. Look over here. There's killing fields. There's graveyards under graveyards. Matter of fact, they even have killing fields in Arizona, which I did a video and showed you guys that. There's abandoned graveyards where people will literally go take a body and go put it in the abandoned graveyard, because why? Nobody's going to think about looking in the graveyard for a body. There's so many bodies there. Nobody's going to think about looking there. I literally showed you guys. So let me rewind the lie back here. Let me rewind this lie.
Received a tip that specifically mentioned Nancy Guthrie. For the volunteers with Buscando, and they've helped find the remains of dozens of people in the Nogales area, but this is the first time they've received a tip that specifically mentioned Nancy Guthrie. For the volunteers with Buscando Corazones, anonymous tips are common, often leading them to remote parts of Mexico as they search for missing people.
Nina said, when did they receive the tip? This is a great question. They are not saying when they, well, we're going to go through this together because I haven't looked at all this. I just read. So I haven't looked at any of these news conferences. So we're going to see this and see if somebody mentions when they exactly received the tip, because that's a great question. When was this tip received? Because I sent tips back in February. Hey, you might want to look over here in Mexico. You might want to look over here in Mexico. So we'll find out.
We usually get anonymous calls almost every day.
This time, they're looking for answers in a case that has captured national attention. Were you familiar with Nancy Guthrie when you did get that tip?
In reality, no, I didn't know. Once they told me, I looked her up. That's all I knew. Here in Mexico, we search for all those who are missing the same way.
Ramona Guadalupe Ayala Ortiz, the leader of the collective, says a caller last month told her Nancy Guthrie's remains are buried close to the...
You guys hear that? A caller last month. So it's June 12th right now. So they're saying last month. That could have been May 1st. They're saying a caller last month is when they got the tip. Last month is June. I'm sorry, June 12th right now. It's June 12th. They're not saying it could have been May 1st. They got this tip. I don't know. I don't know whether to believe that or not to believe it, because at this point, I don't believe a lot of these things that social media is telling us right now. Giga is watching from London, UK. That's why my husband is asking what's going on with this case. Unfortunately, I have nada to report. That they're looking in Mexico right now. You could tell your husband they're looking in Mexico right now where they should have went a long time ago. That's what you could tell your husband, all right? Finally, I guess they're looking in Mexico after all this time.
Mariposa Port of Entry in Nogales month told her Nancy Guthrie's remains are buried close to the Mariposa Port of Entry in Nogales.
Ain't that where I said to look? Isn't this exactly, for you guys who's been following me, isn't this where I said to look? This is where I said to look, exactly. I said to look right here. Ain't this something? When I submitted my YouTube video and everything to them when I did this, I remember exactly, and I can go back to the YouTube video too. So now they want to look in this area? Now? What happened? Why you guys think now they want to look over here? Maybe, Angela said, maybe they're going down a list of tips. They got 1,000 tips to go down. I mean, hey, that could be true. That could be true. Terry said, hello, Ray. All they've been doing is lying to all of us. All lies. All lies. What? I'm going to have to, let's finish this. And while we finish this, actually, hold on real quick, because I know for a fact I know for a fact that which video was it? I know that was exactly where I said to look in a video a long time ago. Long time ago. When I said check Mexico. I just want to see this because I did point out the map on my video. I actually pointed the map out. I want to compare it with their map. I just want to find the video so I can click on it. Nancy Guthrie, Mother Savannah hosted adapted. What do you think? All right, so that's where we started. Ransom note left behind this whole time. Was he in debt? Epstein files. Man, I didn't did a video on every single suspect you could think of in this case. Every person you could think of in this case, I didn't did a video on. Actually, let's go back to this real quick and I'm going to look.
Dallas, just across the border. Nancy, the mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie, has been missing since February 1st after police say she was taken from her Tucson home. Savannah Guthrie has since returned to work, but the pain remains.
It's always with me, you know. I mean, I cry every morning on the way to work, and I cry every morning on the way home.
Despite video showing a masked man at Nancy's home the night she disappeared, there are still no answers or suspects.
And we still need everybody's prayers,
Yeah,
and we still wish someone would call and say what they know.
After receiving the tip on a possible gravesite, volunteers alongside Mexican authorities conducted a search on May 16th and returned again on Wednesday.
They only told me to search near the streams, under a velvet tree. That's all. So we, as searchers, have learned the techniques for finding a clandestine grave.
Ramona.
They only told me to...
So they received, early May, they received the tip. May 16th was the first search. June 10th was the second search. Julia said maybe the caller was watching your video and then they made the call. Oh, somebody's trying to take that $1 million. You know what? I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked. They probably looked at my tip and was like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything. This YouTuber doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's not give him nothing. Let's see here. Let's continue on why I look for this video.
Search near the streams, under a velvet tree. That's all. So we, as searchers, have learned the techniques for finding a clandestine grave.
Ramona says searchers are looking for any signs the ground may have been altered, including burn marks and uneven soil. But both searches have come up empty. Now they're planning to search another stream on Tuesday.
We have hope that we will find it.
The Pima County Sheriff's Office says they are aware of the reports about the anonymous tip. They say they have not been contacted by Mexican authorities about the search efforts and that their investigation is ongoing. Live in studio, Maria Stobbs, 12 News.
All right, so that is the one news clip that they are giving us. Regina says police aren't looking, it's just a private company. Yeah, they got like security with them or something like that. I do know it's the mother search. I can't pronounce it because it's in Spanish. But their organization in Mexico. Stem says, I've been thinking this is a hoax. Hey, you're not the only person. A lot of I think that sometimes too, like, hey. I wonder why this news is reported it now. Let's see, because you guys know how I like to do. I like to look for something different I don't just do one news source, I look at multiple. Because sometimes another news source might give you something else.
And it is day 131 of the search for Nancy Guthrie. And tonight we're learning that a volunteer search crew group in Nogales, Mexico says they have received a tip surrounding the Nancy Guthrie case. Now take a look at your screen. This is the Mariposa area near Nogales, Mexico. And that is where an anonymous tipster reportedly told the group a body matching Guthrie's description could be found. News 4 Tucson's Jacob Owens joins us live now from that area where multiple searches have turned up nothing so far previously to hearing about this tip. Jacob, what can you tell us tonight?
Sean, I'm just feet away from the Mariposa port of entry here on the U.S. side of the U.S.-Mexico border. That group that received this tip, Buscando Corazones, says that this is the first anonymous tip that specifically mentioned Nancy Guthrie. Now we're going to show you some of this Mariposa area here on the U.S. side of the border. As we said, this is right near the U.S.-Mexico border, very close to Nogales. A member of this group says the first anonymous call came on May 10th. An uneventful search followed days later on May 16th, then going to a second call. That came to the group from the same individual, asking them to search in a dry riverbed region. The group says a second search occurred just yesterday, but it also turned up nothing. Volunteers have a third search planned for next week. Sean, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos says he nor the FBI have been directly contacted by Mexican authorities. They are reaching out, however. As soon as we learn more, we'll be sure to bring you the latest details. Reporting live close to Nogales, Mexico, Jacob Owens, News 4 Tucson.
Thank you for that, Jacob, and for continuing coverage on the search.
Oh, I found the video. I found it. I actually found it. I found the video. Shine Lady says, Ray, investigate the girl who stabbed. Yes, I did see that. I saw that. Actually, I'm going to look into that. I did see that. All right, so it's going to be this video, this one right here.
Number, it's an FBI number.
All right,
so that right there is school. These you probably don't know about.
This was the video I did. If you never saw it,
do what you want to do because they're wanting that you know that there's a ransom.
Now, so this is when TMZ received that first ransom note. So I posted this 4 months ago. 4 months ago. This was my second video on Nancy Guthrie, the second video.
Now you're probably thinking, like, are they going to pay this ransom? So went to the Google Map images. And I showed you the neighborhood that her house is in. And I showed you.
And then I break down how easy it would have been to go to Nogales, Mexico.
How it was pretty much okay. Now,
and we'll fast forward a little bit.
House to Mexico. Not that long at all. An hour and 40 minutes to.
You see where the dot ends at? Hold on. Ain't this something? This is funny. Let's go back to the little map they had on here.
New developments tonight in the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie.
Where's the little map they had?
4 months after she disappeared from her Tucson home.
Are buried close to the Mariposa port of entry in.
Look at that. Look where they got it. Look at the search area. The exact search area. And look where mine ends at. Oh, man. Hey, Ruth. How's it going? Julia says the fact the caller called back to search another area makes me believe it's Nanos playing with everyone. We know says, I remember this video. I looked on the maps and it was easy for them to take a route out of there and straight to Nogales. Nina says, new development tonight. Yeah, new development tonight. So yeah, I posted this 4 months ago, and they have the exact. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. Hold on. I can't make this up. Hold on. Heck, hold on. Let's do this. And let's make this smaller. Let's move this over here. Can't make this up. Ain't that something? The exact map. Ain't that something? Who was watching my videos? Who's watching my videos? Nina gifted a membership. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Hey, Inner Strength. How's it going? Julia says, I almost called you Jello, Julia. I almost said Jello. We know says if found reward goes to Ray. They're not going to give me that. I wish. They're not going to give me that money. Gina says, I lived in Tucson and used to travel to Nogales to shop. It's like 45 minutes from me, so not much more from Nancy and 10 minutes from her home. Yes, it's right down there. Not far at all. Hey, Brenda, how's it going? So these people literally took, ain't that something?
Nogales, just across the border. Nancy, the mother of Today co-host, just across the border. Nancy,
literally
the mother of
took
Today co-host, Savannah.
My exact same map. Ain't that something? Next thing you know, they're going to start talking about tunnels.
To get to the Mexico border they have, depending on the plug, depending on who they know. They can easily pay the border patrol on the Mexican side money to get through the border. Easily. Okay? I crossed the border when I was on the run. So I know if I can do it, they can do it. All right? Here's another thing too. They don't even have to cross the border through car. Especially in this area. I'm going to give you guys.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, guys. I'm watching while recovering from surgery. Oh, I hope you have a speedy recovery. Hope you have a speedy recovery, and I hope watching this makes you feel better. Julia said chat. So which one of you called? Julia said, which one of you guys saw the video and called? We know says, it makes me wonder if we'll start hearing more on the Iranian woman. Thank you, Major, for the super chat. Hey, Ray, just watched your Carmelo video. How do you think it compares to the Rick Chow case? Both claim self-defense. Both were racially charged. You know what I think the big difference is between the Carmelo Anthony case and the Ray Chow case? You know what I think the big difference is, which a lot of people seem to overlook? Lawyers. How good of a lawyer each one was. Rick Chow had the best criminal defense trial lawyer in the whole state of South Carolina. Some people are comparing the lawyer. Look this guy up. Look him up. Rick Chow's lawyer. Look him up. He's a black guy. Look him up. His lawyer is considered to be the next Johnny Cochran. And we saw what Johnny Cochran did with OJ. The glove didn't fit. And a lot of us, I got proof on my phone OJ did it, y'all. I got proof, literal proof OJ did it. But hey, Johnny Cochran got OJ off. I think it boils down to a lot of these things is the lawyer. The lawyer. Carmelo Anthony's lawyer, which I've told people I think he should have got manslaughter. I don't know about first degree. Manslaughter I can agree with. But his lawyer wasn't worth a damn. Rick Child's lawyer, on the other hand, look that man up. That man is considered one of the best trial lawyers in all the nation. He is the best in the state. So Rick Child didn't care what color his lawyer was. Rick Child went out and got him the best lawyer possible. That's exactly what he did. So I think that is the difference between the two. A lot of people fail to look at who represented who, the lawyer. A lot of people fail to look at that part. Oh man, somebody looked at my video and called it in. Ain't that something? All right, let's see what else they got to say about Mexico. Oh yeah, they're digging up bodies, right? Aren't they digging up bodies or something like that now in Mexico in the killing fields or whatever it is? Yeah, I think they're digging up bodies. Let me see if I can see something. Hold on. Dug up and let's see, because I do know one woman's body was found, the mother of 7. I don't know if she was found in those fields, but her body was found. She might be one of them. They're not really saying where she was found at. They're not giving a lot of details. Guys, sometimes when I go to type in Nancy Guthrie, I'll type in Nancy Grace by accident sometimes. Oh, hello out there. Welcome.
Hello.
How's it going, Bruce?
Hey, I got a question for you, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's your opinion about the guys going out on the public road, the easement? What's your thoughts on the guy that went back again for a second time?
Alex.
Yes,
I did make a video about that earlier. And I don't think he should have went out there again. I honestly think that was a bad idea. I don't know what he was thinking about that. Because here's the thing. We can't beat the police in a street fight. We can't. We're not going to beat the police on the street. So if we know they're arresting us, they're arresting you, especially he's out there by himself. Now I can understand if he got like, let's say 100 YouTube streamers to go out there with him. Different story. I can compare this. Let's say like Martin Luther King when they were doing the Civil Rights March, right? At first he was marching by himself and a few people. Nobody did nothing. Then hundreds of people started marching with him. Then all of a sudden some things start changing, you know? So he's out there by himself and the police are going to win every time. Now, if he would have got like a bunch of YouTubers who was down to go out there with him, now we're talking about a different story. I don't think they're going to arrest all 100 YouTubers. You know, there's going to be a problem. It's going to be national news. It's going to make them look bad. But yeah, I honestly don't think he should have been out there by himself, you know, especially again after he just got arrested, because it's just going to get worse and the police are going to make it look worse, you know. And now we have the video of the cop falling to the ground, even though we all see Alex didn't push him. Yeah, he just fell, right? Now, if Alex goes out there again for a third time, now the excuse is going to be for a cop to shoot him and say, hey, he was violent to the last cop. You know, they're going to make an excuse out of it. So if I talk to Alex, I would tell him, man, think smart. Don't do it. You know, go around the corner. Do it from the store. Do it from somewhere else. Don't even think about going there, you know, until a major update happens and other journalists go.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, I thought the same thing, because it's like the guys had a case and stuff. Like you can tell they got a case on the easement stuff, but
Yeah.
to push in the limits. I mean, even a guy yesterday that called Juice and told him like it's going to make everybody look bad. Now, if me and you got in trouble together and I kept going back and doing the same thing over and over again, now you don't go, but I decide to go and I get arrested and I get arrested and I get arrested. Now they're grouping them up. I don't know if you realize that, but they grouped them up on the news, is what it sounds like. They're a group.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to get your opinion, man. I just hope these guys like stop, like until their cases are over with, and then if they want to deal with it and go do it, go ahead. But yeah, I think it's sad. Like it I don't know. I don't want to put anybody down. Listen, I'm not out there, so but I just think it's a wrong idea to go and continuously do the same thing over and over again. Like, when is it going to stop? Like, people are going to say eventually, like, are you going to keep bailing them out and keep bailing them out? And I'm not putting none of these guys down, but you got to look at yourself. You're going to continue to keep giving a drug addict or an alcoholic more booze. You're indulging in their behavior. That's just my opinion. So, thanks, man. I appreciate what you do, brother.
No problem. Thanks for calling in, man.
Have a good
Appreciate
one, man.
that. All right, you too.
Thanks.
He's got a lot of valid points, and especially if you guys know about Alex and how he just got rearrested again. A lot of valid points, and like, I wouldn't advise for him to go. I wouldn't even advise for him to be out there that last time he was. I wouldn't do it. If I was out there, I wouldn't do it. You think I'm taking my brown skin self over there? No, no. I know my limitations, and I know for a fact you are not beating the police on the street. If you got to take the police to the courtroom, you can't beat them on the. It's not, you ain't beating them on the street. If they pull you over, just obey. If they're taking you to jail, at least arrive to jail alive. At least, because if you're dead, you ain't no bond for you. No bond. I'd rather take my chances and them take me to jail. At least I'm alive. Then, because you never know what these people might do to you. You don't know. Police are the biggest gang in the world. The police are literally the biggest gang in the world. If you think about that, they're the biggest gang. Not mean saying that they're bad. They're not, you know what I mean? But there are some bad seeds out there, but they stick together. They ride together. That's what gangs do. So you're not beating them on the street. If you got an issue with them, you got to take it to court. But thank you, Bruce, for calling in. I really appreciate that. Stem says they want to make him an example. Yes. Yes, they are going to make him an example. And you don't want that end of the stick. You don't want that. Jada say you are handsome in your own way. I don't know if that's a compliment or or a sidearm. It's like saying, hey, you got a face only a mother will love. She said you're handsome in your own way. Truth Sloop says, I disagree with Nancy being in Mexico. That's just my opinion. Well, Truth, where do you think she would be at right now? Where do you think she would be at? I mean, we really don't know where she's at, right? But where do you think she would be at? No problem, Bruce. Anytime. Anytime. Let's see here. What else? I think Brian Enton said did a thing on this too. Just checking my phone. Some people sent me some stuff. That's backhanded. That's backhanded. They're handsome in your own way. Oh, just said, I'll take handsome any way you want to give it to me. The probable cause said Alex urinated in public on his live stream. So that's what the probable cause said. See, I didn't read any of the pop. Wow. So what? Yeah, they're going to make this man an example. They're going to do whatever they can to bury anybody that goes there that is a YouTube streamer. They're going to do whatever they can. And you know what the sad part about this is? You want to know what the real sad part about this is? Savannah ain't said nothing. Nothing. There's people out here looking for her own mom and she ain't said nothing. Not one word. Jada said, you're cute to someone, Ray. True said, at least Alex is willing to be put out there. I mean, that's true, but to what cause? That will be the issue. To what cause, though? To what cause? That is the only problem. Poppy Spot said, I think they're saying you're one of a kind, and that's a good thing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm one of a kind somebody. Keith, hello, Fugitive. What is your name? Ray Marcel, like it says on the hat. Ray Marcel. Ray Marcel. So I think that was AI. I'm looking into what Brian Enton is saying. Hold on. Let's see what Brian Enton
Hey
has
guys,
to say.
so I saw the report.
Let's see what Brian Enton says. Because like I said, I only read. I didn't look at any of these videos or anything.
About the group in Mexico, the volunteer group, that claims they received an anonymous tip that someone knew where Nancy Guthrie was and that there was a grave, and this group has now been out searching in Mexico. There's some video of them searching. They haven't found anything. The Pima County Sheriff's Office put out a statement just saying that they're aware of the reports, but that, you know, they haven't heard anything from Mexican authorities. My sense is that this is probably not anything serious. You never know, though. I mean, all it's going to take to crack this case open is one tip that comes in that is legit. But just based on what I'm seeing at this point, I don't think that this is going to end up being legit or anything related to the Nancy Guthrie case. But we'll have to wait and see. And again, you never really know. I mean, you kind of have to take everything seriously because you don't know what will end up being legit. And Mexico is close. You know, I went there when we were in Tucson. I drove there. It's like an hour away and you can drive right into Mexico. So I do think that authorities have to consider that Mexico is part of the equation here. But in terms of this specific tip, I haven't seen or heard anything from my sources that indicate that it's, you know, credible or really going to pan out into anything. Hey guys.
All right. So that's what Brian Enton says on that. The whole Mexico thing. Now, yeah, I don't know nobody knows where she's at, right? But I do. If she is in Mexico, it does line up. Because remember, I told you guys about the coyote that I talked to that's out there in that area. And he did say allegedly that one of the people got off with his head, terminated, deleted. And remember me telling you guys that he was buried right on the other side of the border, or his body was dumped right on the other side of the border. And the coyotes and all of them had to kind of seize their little smuggling operations for a little bit because the police were at the border, or FBI agents are at the border. You know, I guess talking about that because allegedly, I guess they think maybe the same thing. One of them could be buried over there or on the other side of the border. But if that is the case, if she is out there, if she is, and they find her, then it would add up, because maybe they would find her and then maybe one of the people who did do something along with her too. Who knows? But it would add up in a way. Wolf Moon says, when is your nice profile picture, Wolf Moon? Nice profile picture. When is your book coming out? It is, I'm just waiting on a publishing company to send me back a proper deal. If they don't send me back a proper deal, then I'm releasing it myself. I don't want them to own all the rights. That's what I don't want. Major says, when you were on the run, did they ever label you armed and dangerous? That is a great question. Did they ever label you armed and I never saw reports that I was armed and dangerous. I never saw reports, but that's a great question. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, they never, I don't think so, but this is back then when they used to put you in a newspaper. I gotta find the old article actually, because there was no YouTube back then. There was none of that stuff back then. So everything was in a newspaper. I gotta see if I can find that.
My whole goal basically was to join the Air Force. That was my goal. I was trying to join the Air Force.
Yeah, I gotta see if I can find. I found some of my old interviews that people gave me, but I gotta see if I can find the newspaper article actually that has me in Crime Stoppers. Novella says, I am late. At least you're here. At least you are here. Tracy said, why is everyone so fascinated with this case? We need to focus on other missing cases. That is why I do a lot of videos in between of other missing people. And if you remember, I would even slip in another missing individual while I would do a Nancy Guthrie, because I knew everybody's eyes would be on Nancy. So why everybody's eyes on Nancy? Let me slip somebody else in there for a few minutes that needs some attention too. You know, I think you know what? I think I was the only person doing that. Now that I think about it, I don't think nobody else is doing that. I think I was the only one doing that. I would do a Nancy Guthrie video, especially like at the prime when all this happened, and I would slip somebody else in there. And actually, I would have that other person first. I would make you watch 10 minutes of this other person being missing before you went to Nancy Guthrie, unless you press fast forward. TC says, yes, I remember you saying they may have taken her to Mexico. I think her body is in a desert. I think you should also publish your own book. I'm just weighing my options when it comes to the whole book, because I have a lot of big plans for the book. Let's put it that way. Keith says, Ray, what is your honest opinion on what you think happened to Nancy? Or do you think her mom was staged and she never made it home? Oh my God. I can tell you one thing, my honest opinion, I think the family knows more than what we're being led to. I can tell you that much. I think the family knows more than what we're being led to. Now, do I think like Tommaso he was the porch guy? I don't think Tommaso was the porch guy, but I think they know more than what we are being led to, is what I believe. I believe there's something that they all know that they don't want to come out. Thank you so much, Perfectly Me. Thank you. I love the glasses. Wendy says, I can't stop laughing. She said you're cute in your own way. Yes, she did. Lydia says, hit the like button. Thank you. Hit the like button. Would she be there? Oh man. The whole Mexico thing. So when it comes to if Nancy is in Mexico, like they're saying, okay, and like I never said for sure if she's in Mexico, but I said it would be, I said that was the first location I thought of was Mexico, right across the border. There is, well, what they call killing fields. Right across the border is what they have killing fields, okay? And I might have showed that in my prior video now I think about it. I got to fast forward it. I might have put it in my other videos about that. But the killing fields is what you want to call it. The reason why those are out there, all right? And this is sad, guys. It's really sad, but here's a reason why those are out there. All right. I don't really know the full history of how it started, but a lot of Mexican authorities, they know about these areas where bodies are dumped off, buried, and things like that. The Mexican authorities, they know. All right. It's not like people are blind. They know this. Okay. So remember I told you guys a long time ago, I'm familiar with those tunnels that go right under the border. There's multiple tunnels. The authorities know about these tunnels, all right? This authorities, some of these people get paid off. They get paid off. You might not want to hear this, but they get paid off. And that's why some of these tunnels still stay open, all right? And they can lead from an average house to a business right on the other side, all right? And some of these tunnels, they would have lights. They would have like a cart, like almost like little mini train tracks almost. It's like they have like technology going through the tunnel, some of these tunnels, okay? So it's not like no little, like you're crawling through. Some of these tunnels have lights and electricity, all kind of stuff, all right? Well, a lot of these tunnels are used for smuggling certain things, as we can imagine. People have to pay their dues when these things get smuggled. They have to pay these dues. So what happens is these people will pay the coyotes, all right? No matter what it is. The coyotes take this money, and then the coyotes, what they're doing is they're paying the bigger person who could be part of the cartel, authorities, whatever it is. But they have to pay the bigger person. If the coyotes don't pay the bigger person, then the coyote's neck is online. It's online. They can end up going terminated, decimated. Sometimes these guys will end up in one of those fields. Sometimes unfortunate family members when they're trying to escape Mexico, okay? And these family members aren't escaping for free a lot of times. A lot of times they're paying these coyotes off. And what they'll do is they'll pay like a deposit at first. Let's say they have to pay $5,000. This is an example. They got to pay a deposit, $2,500. They get to the meeting location, whatever it is, and they got to have the rest of the money. All right. If they don't have the rest of the money, a lot of times they will get terminated because they can't risk them going back and telling and doing everything else, So sometimes they would get dumped in the fields. People who are going across the border to smuggle narcotics back, which happens a lot. Weapons, narcotics going back and forth. This happens a lot. If they think you're wearing a wire, they think you got, for example, you take some stuff and you go back into Arizona. All right. You go back in Arizona. Let's say you get arrested. Police find all this stuff on you, but police let you back out because now police want to use you to catch whoever did something, right? So you don't think nobody knows. You don't think nobody knows you got arrested. Well, joke's on you. When you go back over across the border to make another run, they know you end up in one of these fields, lands, plots, whatever you want to call it. So that's why they have these fields that's out there. Said, wasn't it the tunnels how El Chapo escaped that? Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. That's right. Yes. Actually, hold on. Watch this. Watch this, you guys. Watch this. They should have a video on it. Oh, we got Phil calling. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I
Oh,
can hear
fine.
you.
Yeah, I've been very interested in your presentations, but have you heard of this woman called 1111? She's been following the Guthrie case. She
I
works
don't.
kind of with tarot cards, and she noted that there's the Irish pagan holiday, February 1st, that NG was taken 6 hours after she said the um, Trump Epstein files were released.
Yep, she was.
And I know there's a connection. I mean, I'm studying Irish too, so there's, a lot of my friends are of all sorts of religions. But um, oh shoot, um, we're talking about the Joker,
Uh-huh.
who's the Trump. The Trump cards are the major arcana. The Trump, uh, 0 through I think 10, but the zero card is a Joker or a full card. He always carries a full kind of Trump truffle bag or whatever to
Okay.
contain all of the symbols. So people are wondering who this porch guy was,
Yeah.
and that could be. I think it's almost like a ceremonial thing going on. And she lived on there's the streets in Trada and Encantado,
Okay.
and there's the Zion card, and Trada and Encantado are near the Grand Staircase Escalante in the Zion National Monument. And there's the Vermilion Hills with swirls of sandstone, and that's Entrada sandstone. I don't know. I'm just kind of free thinking, but I don't know what these people are trying to do. If it's a ceremony kind of thing, but it might go back to when there's a guy named Aleister Crowley 100 years ago, and he fought with James or William Butler Yeats, who was trying to revive Irish mythology. And I think a lot of that mythology gets incorporated into some of those tarot cards, and it goes back into the Freemasons. And Mozart kind of divulged a lot of their secrets. So it could be that he was offed because of that. But Crowley was trying to become head of this guild or whatever called the Golden Dawn. And then he was kicked out of Italy because he actually murdered one of his students, but he adopted the 666 as his kind of a symbol. And he went around, I guess, with a horned goat, kind of just to identify with it, not seriously evil, but it's part of the emblem now for the Church of Satan. So I don't know if people are, besides 1111, if how far she's been going along that. It's sort of a tarot divinity divining things,
Mm-hmm.
but um, she's trying to sleuth it, and it's just like, I know we're trying to be honest about the NG thing, but NG, I told my group that that's a consonant in the Irish language. They're saying there's only 12, but it's the 13th consonant, and so they're adding it. It's in the word sing, SING, and it's actually a consonant in the Tagalog Filipino. They call it the Nang, and
Okay.
it's IPA and everything. So I don't know. It just seems all too weird, and a lot of things seem kind of coincidental. But if we're gonna, this whole thing is getting way out of hand. Like what's going on with arresting people, and it's
Yeah,
gonna
it
affect,
is. I heard you mention the
So
I heard you mention earlier the how she got abducted right after the Epstein, because that's true. Right after the Epstein files was released is when she so-called got abducted. Do you think?
yeah, 6 hours or
Yep.
maybe 6.66 hours. I don't know. It's like
Do
too
you
weird.
do you think that has anything to do with what happened with her?
Well, 1111 said that the daughter
Uh-huh.
Annie, whatever, uh, a creative writing professor at U of A, and she said that she was a self-professed witch. Now, there's good and bad, but
Yeah.
what William Butler Yeats was doing, he was using white magic on Crowley, and Crowley was using black magic on them. But it goes into the words Benacte, and which means blessings, and Malakte means curse. The Ak is from the kind of like Latin and Celtic for ache, and it's
Uh-huh.
Maaka was is the goddess saint of Ulster, and she was gonna give birth, and
It's
the
2015.
Go
sorry,
ahead.
the guys made her run a race with a horse, and so she cursed him. But a lot of other cultures have sort of like the Navajos have a birthing ceremony for it's kind of like when people are ready, it's like a baby shower for them.
Yeah.
But they get the most sacred word in their language. You put it in prayers, hojon. That's the feelings people get from this experience of sharing and the connection with the Mother Earth and things like that. But sort of in the Irish, it's become the duality of blessing and curses. So I think, I don't know, it's like the opposite of tarot. They have the decks coming out where the devil is right side up and Hierophant or the Pope is upside down. And I think Trump, didn't he say something about kill the Pope? I mean, it's like, and then Nancy Guthrie, I think, said Trump is very evil. So, and there's a whole Baphomet or something. I think they're doing ceremonies on that island or something with the kids. So I don't know, but
Yeah,
um,
I'm gonna check out
yeah.
somebody dropped the name for 1111. So I have the name and I'm gonna go
Oh,
check her
good.
out. I got
Yeah, I
one more
don't.
question for you. Are you
Oh,
Filipino?
sure.
You Filipino?
No, but I work in healthcare, which a lot of the Filipinos work, and they're like the best, absolutely
Ah,
best.
okay,
And they're from
okay.
all these islands, and I'm trying to figure out like how Tagalog is the official language, but they put together a couple other languages for it to look at this non-character
Uh-huh.
and try to get more because it's Navajo is a tonal language, and now that I've got people with PhDs and stuff in some of my classes, they were teaching it, and so I'm trying to think, well, if they put it back in, does that make Irish a tonal language? So
Okay.
that's the reason my interest in like Filipino and things like that. But no, I work with a lot of them, and
All
uh,
right.
I don't know. It's sort of like everybody. It's not really genetics. It's kind of culture too. And uh, my professor at University of Arizona, he Andrew Weil, he has alternative medicine, and my professors in pharmacy did not want me to take that class because it's not big pharma. And he went to like the Amazon jungle and got their traditional medicine. And he told us, to be a culture, you not only have to have your language, you have to have your own medicine. Otherwise, it's like kind of like genocide. So I'm trying to get people to appreciate their past and their culture, revive their language, and things like that. But no, I do like the Filipinos, and I'll probably have. But I am kind of related through my brother-in-law into the Native Americans and Filipinos too.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for calling, Phil. I'm gonna go check out
Well, thank you for.
1111, all right? Thanks a lot.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You have a good day. Mhm. All right. Thank you, Phil. Felt like I was getting my future read there for a minute. Guess I gotta check out 1111. Um,
And to the east, the Earth rises to become hard mountainous rock. Otay Mesa is located in between, and soil
oh, why you guys
maps
got the
show a
music,
geological
man?
sweet spot where the soil is soft enough
It's
to dig by
copyright
hand,
when they do the
but
music.
strong enough to support.
Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I was trying to show you the tunnels. Here we go. Let's do this. Stop with the music. Let's pause it. All right, so the tunnels look very similar to this. Very, very similar. Very similar. So, this says tunnel is 5'7" tall. Perfect for Chapel, who stands 5'6". Now, the one I've seen, I think it was about 5'5", I want to say. Oh, there is also a motorcycle attached to a trolley-like device, which allowed Chapel to ride in freedom. So the one I saw wasn't like a motorcycle, but it was more like a almost like a wagon, and it was like on a track. It was a wagon on a track, and you sat down in a wagon, or you put your merchandise, put whatever you want in this wagon, and it goes on the track.
There are steel beams, there's wood, electricity. This is a generator to run all the lights, we're told. This is an electrical panel.
The tunnel opens in this, what did it say? A partially constructed house? What did that say? The tunnel opens in this partially constructed house a mile from the prison. So I just told you guys, it's one end is always a house. And I know in Tucson, there were always homes because on the border right there, you have a lot of homes right there on the border.
We came to this last set of stairs and climbed up here into this room. This protected room.
And the one I knew, it was inside of a basement.
And disappeared. With Guzman's escape deeply embarrassing the Mexican government, officials are widening their manhunt.
That right there is a good idea of what
there's wood,
they look like. Now, see if I can find something else for you guys before I get off of here. Let me see what some of you guys are saying. Who in here had a tarot reading? Hey, Doug, thanks for joining. These tunnels are scary as hell. They are scary. You know what the most scariest thing about the tunnel is? You want to hear what the most scariest thing about the tunnel? Because if you think that's scary, the most scariest thing about the tunnel? Nina said, is there air to breathe? They got air in there some sort of way. The tunnels are so big though. They're so large. Mary asked Ray, are you No, I'm not. You know what? I get that a lot, especially out in the West Coast. I grew up in LA. A lot of people thought I was mixed with Filipino, but no, I'm not. I'm mixed, but not with Filipino. The scariest thing about these tunnels is, let me go back to the screen. Let me show you. Let's see if they show it. All right, right here. So the one I was in was a little different than this. It's a little different, but I don't know if they have it on here or not. But the scariest thing about the tunnel is, for one, you don't know where you're going. You get in the tunnel, you don't know where you're going to end up at. That's one. Second is that opening right there. When you go in the opening, somebody's there, you know, as you go down. And once you go down, they take a piece of wood or whatever it is, and you're locked. They lock that thing in. You're not coming back up that same way. You have no choice now but to keep going forward. You can't go back up. Can't go back up. That is the scariest thing, because now there is no way to escape. No way to escape. Now you got to hope and pray that when you get to the other side of this tunnel, that somebody is there to let you out. You got to hope and pray now. Hopefully somebody's there to let me out, because both sides are locked. So you're trapped in this tunnel, which could be maybe a quarter mile long or something like that. All right, let's see. Mexico. 3 graves found. I'm looking up right now on if they're going to tell us exactly how many graves were found. Because I see a lot of different people. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Volunteers have searched the region previously, and between April and May, recovered the remains of 32 people and found over 25 unmarked graves. Let's see here. TC said, I saw a movie where it shows rats. Possibly, I didn't see any rats, but possibly there are some snakes down there. There are some snakes down there. King V said, oh my God, you're live. Yes, I am. You came in just in time. Nina said, maybe you end up in Vietnam. Oh, take the wrong tunnel, end up in Hawaii. They incinerated her. They are going to find nothing. They do have, guys. They do have areas to where they do incinerate people too. And these are the important people that they don't want no trace of evidence found of them. I'm at work, but you just got another subscriber, right? Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, let's see here. I want to see if I can see something. Hold on real quick. See what time is it? I can't stay on here too much longer. All right, hold on. Let me see. See if I can show you guys something. Checking my phone. I'm going into Mexico right now so I can show you guys something. Let me show you. Let's take a trip to Mexico, guys. I'm sorry, there's no tacos. There's no margaritas. But let's take a trip. All right. And let me show you something. Where is it at? I'm looking for a location. Let's see if somebody's watching this video and puts in a tip. Let's see if somebody watching this. How I'm gonna test it out. Let's see if somebody's watching this video and they put in a tip. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Let's see you put in a tip here, guys. All right, so there is. I haven't been over here. It's been years since I've been over here. I'm trying to find the incinerator. There's an actual incinerator. That's why there's an incinerator where they use to incinerate people. And I'm trying to remember exactly where it's at. so I can show you guys. Because there is one. All right, so let me show you guys this right here. You guys ready for this journey? Let's put on the map. Let's switch the screen. I'm gonna show you this. Rocket Prophet says, Future TV, does this Mexico lead fit in with the human trafficker? It could, I mean, from what I was told, I don't know about Kayla's husband, what's his name, William? I don't know if it fits in with him. That part, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. If he ends up missing or dead, it could fit. If he ends up missing or dead, it could fit. But it might fit with what Coyote told me, which was 2 months ago, about one of the porch people is buried on the other side of the. All right, so on this side, this is the West Coast. Let me zoom out real quick so you guys can see. Up here is Arizona. That's Arizona right up here, right? So where it says Coquina La Restaurant, that's Arizona, okay? And the Best Western right here, Sweets and Inn, that's Arizona. Down here, of course, is Nogales, right? So on the west side of Nogales, let me zoom in. There's a Catholic church right here in between the highways and next to a popular destination. See this right here? It says KA. And it gives you 1 star, right? 1 star. But this area right here, let's see who calls on a tip on this one. It's where some stuff goes down. It's where some stuff goes down, people. Now, I don't know if they're searching this area. I don't know. But this is where some stuff goes down. And then you have this other side of this highway. It's like their main highway, one of the main highways, the other side right here. But I can tell you right here, there was like a Catholic church. Now to get to here, it's a dirt road. All of this is dirt. This is dirt road. So it's not like you're going to be driving and stumble upon it. You have to know where you're going to get here. This is an actual dirt road. This is no pavement, no street. Just to show you, look over here. See over here, it's street. It looks like a regular neighborhood, right? But then over here, dirt road. And you have to literally know how to get there because you see how far it is off the highway? See how far it is? But along in here is where some stuff happens. Why is this 1-star review here? What is this? What is going on? Why is there a 1-star review here or a 5-star review? Can I see what it's for? And there's really not even a church here. Well, I guess you might ask yourself, yeah, that's kind of odd. Look, you got this place over here in a dirt road. Oh, somebody's hitting my phone up. They're mad, I'm telling. They're mad, I'm telling. They are mad. Thank you, Philly, for the super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hello, Nina. Thank you. So Callie says the tunnels from Mexico to San Diego, California do not have holes for air. You are correct, because the one I was in that went to Sonora did not have any holes for air either. And they lock you in and you get in that little wagon and the wagon moves, but the one I was in, the wagon was a manual wagon. It wasn't like electric, it was a manual. It's hard to explain, but there was like a lever on the side, and it was almost like you're skiing in a way. And when you go like this, it would go forward, and one way would go backward, if I remember correctly. But you got in a little wagon, it fit, I want to say maybe 2 people, 3 at the most. And the third will be sitting on both y'all laps, but 2 people at the most is what it fit, and you're in a wagon and you're going. There's no room on the other side to walk. It's just really much room for that wagon. And you, like I said, it was like 5'5", maybe 5'4" in there, so you can't stand up. Unless you're really short. Day 3, former Border Patrol by Nancy said 60 minutes from Mexico can be in Mexico getting medicine if needed. You all right? I grew up in Los Angeles, California. That's where I was born and raised. I don't live there no more, but that's where I was born and raised. And I had real bad asthma growing up as a kid. And my mom didn't have the health insurance to cover all my medicine. So I used to have to take, you guys know the nebulizer, the machine, you put the medicine in and all the smoke comes out. The nebulizer, I think I was maybe 8 or 7 years old at that time. And then and nebulizers, I don't know if they are now because I haven't used them so long. But back then I know they were expensive. And her insurance didn't cover maybe half of it. But my mom didn't have all the money to get the rest of it. So she had to go down to Tijuana, Mexico, get my albuterol medicine and the nebulizer and pretty much smuggle it back. And that was how she got my asthma medicine. Was going to Tijuana. Ray, are you Creole? Ooh, I love me some Creole food. I love me some New Orleans food. I'm pretty much, you can pretty much say that. You can say that. You can pretty much say that. Wow, she been stalking me. This woman been stalking me. What, did you catch me on Bourbon Street or something? You caught me on Bourbon Street. The Pima County law enforcement called rental companies in the area days after Nancy's abduction to see if any bobcats or truck holes were rented. Someone would use to dig a grave. From my understanding, I think they did, but I think they only did locally. I think it was only locally. So I think only around her house is what I was told. But I don't think they went to the extent of like going down, an hour south. I believe it was only locally they called, like, to see if somebody rented a bobcat or something like that. Oh, you're Creole too. Okay, don't ask me to speak no language. The only thing I know is the seasoning. They said she was buried near a stream. A stream? Wait, hold on. Wait. Stream? Where's there a stream? I remember it being dry. There's a stream? Wait. The stream? This stream got to be super small. Where's the stream? Buried near, unless it's a dried stream. Gotta be a dry stream. Because I don't remember any watered streams. It's just like Tucson. They're all like dry because it's so hot and desert stuff. Buried near a stream. It's gotta be dry. So that would be on the other side, I think, because I don't think there was any. It's gotta be over here then. Because over here is where some stuff goes down too. This is another area where some things go down. See all these places right here? These are pretty much crumbled homes. This is pretty much what it is. Can I put my man there? Will it let me? No, I didn't think so. These are dirt roads, crumbled homes. A lot of these homes right here in this area, were actually, it's sad. A lot of these homes were actually pretty much taken over by like cartels and things like that, and families got kicked out and whatever. Kind of a sad area right there if you know what happened. Yeah, I don't remember it's got to be a dry stream. Has to be, because I don't remember a wet stream over here. Trying to think, where was a wet stream over here? I don't remember one, unless I've never saw it. I only know of the bad parts, unfortunately. When I went down here, I only know of the bad parts. So, unfortunate. Yeah. I gotta actually, since you said stream, I gotta see if I can pull up an article. Maybe water in February. I don't know. Let me see something. Because when I was there, it was summertime. It was like June. Actually, it was just the same time this year, actually, now I think about it. This time, it was June when I was going back and forth. And taking a nap. This was a long time ago. This was, how long ago was this? 2006-ish? 20 years ago, guys. 20 years ago. And I look at the map of this part of Mexico, and really ain't a lot of changed. All right, let's see. Any streams? Let's see. All right, so there are several streams and areas in and around Astralis. I can never pronounce it. Sonora, Mexico. They generally fall into two categories. So when you said maybe in February, you're right. Seasonal flood channels. So there are seasonal flood channels, and then natural riparian. I never heard of that. So remember I told you when I was there, they're like dried up. So that could be why. So they're natural flood channels. So I guess if it rains a lot, then they're natural channels to flood. Where are these at? Let's see. Would you put a body on a flood channel though? Or by a flood channel? Because it softens the ground, you would think. I don't know. I'm not into that line of work. I'm looking up one right now to see where it's at. Let's see if it goes in the same area. The tip person says that she was under a tree near a creek, Mariposa, Sonora, Mexico. Mariposa, Sonora, Mexico. Let's see. Mariposa. Let's see if there's any wet streams or dry streams. Sonora, Mexico. Let's see what we got going on here. First thing that pops up is U.S. Border Patrol. Mariposa, Mexico. Let's see. Sometimes looking up towns in Mexico, oh my God, it's difficult. It's giving me Manaraca. That's not it. Mariposa. Please stay in contact with the Juice and Alex. Your knowledge and wisdom is needed. So I'm trying to. I am definitely trying to. I popped into Juice's chat. I think it was this morning or last night. Last night, I think it was. Why he had somebody on the call, but I popped in the chat to say what's up. Connie says it's a shame. We used to do the same thing in Canada. You can go to the pharmacy in Canada, get muscle relaxers, allergy medicine, codeine. Yeah, I remember when I was in Canada, you can go there and get Tylenol 3. I was shocked. You can get Tylenol 3 over the counter with no prescription. I was so shocked about that. And then like how you said the codeine. Here you got to show ID and all kind of stuff. There it was like, okay, codeine, here you go, guy. Liz says, why do you think Nancy is buried? See, I don't know. I don't know. But let me put Liz's state back up. I don't know if she's buried, but I just know when they start talking about this on the news, when I saw this, I think it was late last night before I was falling asleep. It was in line with what one of the coyotes told me about one of the intruders, if you want to call them that, is allegedly buried on the Mexico side. So when I saw that, I was like, that kind of aligns with what the coyote told me. Could they possibly be buried together? Or could the tipster be thinking Nancy is Nancy there, but it's really not Nancy, it's one of the guys who went to the house? That could be possible too. Marissa. So it's wait, let me go here. So it's Marissa, is that how you pronounce it? Marissa, that's why I probably couldn't find it. I'm searching like, why isn't this popping up? So it's Marissa. Let me go to back to my original map here. Trying to see if I can find this for you guys. I can't pronounce no Spanish words, so I'm not going to try. Let's let you guys know. I can barely pronounce English, let alone another language. All right. Get these lines off. Traffic lines. All right. So Marissa. Where is Marissa? Murata. Let me see if I can find an actual article that gives me a better detail. Let me see. Because some of these articles will give you a better detail. I'm reading an article right now. Allow ads. Oh my God. Some of the newspapers got to pay descriptions and things like that. Take the ad blocker off. Oh my God. Channel 6 News, y'all really? Y'all blocking the content? Let's go to another one. They had a gatekeeper on that one. All right, let's see what this one says. You know what I'm noticing, guys? Actually, one thing I am noticing is as I'm going through these ads, or not ads, I'm sorry, articles, the news, they're pretty much just copying and pasting what each other is saying is all they're doing. I'm noticing that. Why can I not unblock the ads from any of these? This is crazy. It's not even letting me unblock the ad. Hold on. Hold on. Disable your ad blocker. Wow. It didn't even let me unblock the. Hold on. Let's go to another one. All right. This one's working. Wow. I went through 3 articles. I couldn't even read them because I couldn't unblock the ad blocker. All right, let's see what this one says. Yeah, all of them are pretty much copying and pasting. Okay, near a stream in Mariposa, Mexico. All right. Mariposa Shopping Center. Oh, I think I found it. I think I found not the stream, but the actual city. All right, so Mariposa looks like it's actually literally right on the borderline. Yeah, Mariposa is literally right on the borderline. Literally. All right, I'm gonna show you guys. This is why I wouldn't know, because I didn't cross the border legally. I crossed it underground. So this is why I didn't know. I'm underground beneath it. All right, so this right here, Mariposa truck border. That's where the trucks cross, right? So Mariposa is literally right there on the borderline. Matter of fact, Mariposa Road. So apparently there's some sort of a stream right here, which probably would be the stream that's right here. Okay, all right. I understand now. I get it. Will it let me see? Let me see if it'll let me see. I get it now. Now you see how this is like a dry bridge? This is a dry bridge for now this is a crossing for the truckers. See that right here? Is that it right there? Hold on. One of these is like one of those like dry streams I was talking about. Which at that time I didn't know was a stream. It's dried up. Let's go back. Click this off. Because you have the bridge, international, grand, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so Mariposa will literally have to be over on this side where the trucking is at. Did Nancy get taken across the border in a truck? A U.S. truck or a semi-truck? They're not checking trucks going into Mexico. I'll tell you that right now. They're not checking no trucks going into Mexico. They don't give a damn what you're bringing into Mexico. But this right here is Mariposa. That's Mariposa Road. So this little area right here is actually Mariposa. That little area. And there is like a little stream that runs, that separates Mexico from Arizona. So there is like a stream, but when I was there, it was dry. So I don't know if it's wet now. That I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those flood streams I just told you guys about. I'm not sure. But that's pretty much, I guess, what they're talking about. So maybe they're looking in this area right here. Which, if you did cross over here by truck, right? You would cross by truck, park over here, come over here and dump off, bury somebody, I guess. That could be likely possible. Could be possible. Kitty says it's a huge wash overflow area. So it's so overflow, like if it's too much rain, things like that. If looking over my shoulder for the answers to a test, I follow me too. Oh. No, book is not out yet. Waiting on a publishing company to get back to me so I can see what deal they're offering. So it is an overflow. That would make sense of why I didn't see water. So that would make sense. I don't cheat like that. Sleuths just sleuth. Oh. Hey, where did the word sleuth come from? Now that I think about it, where did the word sleuth even come from? That's an interesting word. I'm a sleuth. Who thought of that? Sleuth. What a word. Sleuth. I'm sleuthing. Let's see something. The word sleuth originated as an old Norse term, and Norse is spelled Norse, which meant a track or trail, originally referring to bloodhounds. It evolved into a popular term for detectives through a fascinating history of language evolution. Interesting. So sleuth originally was meant for bloodhounds to follow a track or a trail or a path. I didn't know that. Hey, Beck, thank you. You are here. Kitty says the group says they will return to the area one more week. We got a comment here, Nanos, with a bunch of poop emojis. Old Norse, aka Viking. Kitty is smart. Now, Kitty, I'm not going to Google this. This is the first time I've ever seen this word, Norse, Norse, because I was just reading and it said an Old Norse term, Norse. So, what does Norse mean? Sleuth is originated from an Old Norse term. Never seen that word till now. Thanks, Ray. Hey, I was just curious. I saw him say sleuth. So I was like, well, hold on. Where did the word even come from? Hey, Yvonne. I had never heard of sleuth either until following a streamer on Nancy Guthrie named Sleuth Intuition. The ransom note did say Nancy was in Mexico. Yes, it did. It said Sonora, Mexico. That's what they said. Sonora is like that state, if you want to call it. See, Norse meaning. I'm curious now. I didn't know looking up the word sleuth will lead me to another word I never saw in my life. The term Norse refers to medieval North Germanic peoples of Scandinavia, modern day Norway, and their culture, language, and history between the 9th and 13th centuries. Interesting. It is an umbrella term used to describe ancient Scandinavians, including the Norsemen, often referred to as, Vikings. So Vikings were called Norsemen. Yes, there's a show on Netflix I used to watch, actually, and I want to say Norsemen was in the title. Okay, all right, look at that. Learning something new, folks, today. Okay. All right, learning something new. We learned Mariposa. We learned Mariposa, and it means butterfly. We just learned where sleuth came from, and we learned the word Nor, Nore, where that came from. See, you tune in this channel, you're gonna learn something, because I just learned something. Ray, it appears they had this Mexico tip at the beginning of May, yet Nanos hasn't reached out to find out what they are doing. Well, Sash, what if I was to tell you they've had a tip that she could be in Mexico from February, maybe 20th? When did the first ransom note come out? When was the first ransom note? Hold on. When was the first ransom note? February 9th was the first ransom note. And maybe I sent, it was like 5 or 6 days after that. So about 15th, February 16th. So technically they've had a tip since this February 16th that she could have been in Mexico. Now I don't know for a fact, but hey, since the 16th, I just stopped sending tips to them. I just stopped because they act like they didn't even care. So I stopped. Is this a lame follow-up by distracted authorities? They need Screaming Mexico since the beginning. Right? First thing I said when I opened up his live. Very first thing I said when I got in his live. My second video, Nancy Guthrie, was pointing you to Mexico. Showing you how to get there and everything. But yes, February about the 16th or 15th is when I even submitted something. I think I've called them. Well, I've called twice, emailed once. First time I called, I got hung up on. They hung up on me. Literally hung up on me. Second time I called, they put me on hold. Never got back to the phone. Then I emailed. Then after that, no more. So Monday, February 2nd was the first ransom note. All right, so it must have been the 6th or 7th. I just remember I did 5 or 6 days after the first ransom note. It was something like that. First ransom note hit, and then I did it maybe 5 days later or something like that. So yeah, they've had a tip about it for a long time. And I don't think I'm the only one that probably gave them a tip. I highly doubt I was the only one that said something. I'm pretty sure other people said stuff too. It's just that did they listen? No. No, they didn't. Cammy says, the family annoys me. Something is not right. I'm sorry to judge them, but it's odd. Cammy, you're not the only one that is odd. I've never done a missing persons case in my fugitive TV career where the family member never put a search organization together themselves. They never did really nothing. This is the very first time ever that I've came across a missing person case. And like I said, my fugitive TV YouTube career where nobody has done, from the family side, nothing that we know of. So this is the very first time. So I don't blame you. Judy said, I said on Ashley Banfield's channel that you had reported that before, that she could be in Mexico, buried. Most likely, the suspect was dead. Why are they hanging up on you? Apparently, I wasn't the only one that hung up on. I know some other people that called and they hung up on them too. Now, this was not calling the FBI. So to make that clear, this was actually calling Pima County Sheriff's Office. Calling them is where not just me, some other people got hung up on. Judy said, let's go to Mexico. Judy said, let's go to Mexico. Let's go to Mexico. I haven't been there in so long. Oh my God. I ain't been there in a while. But you know what though? It's scary, but I would have some like connections that other people can't get. It's just, Your life could, you have to really know what you're doing. You can't, I can't have no phone. I can't be streaming. I can't have no electric devices. I literally would have to be ghost for a couple weeks or whatever you want to. While I'm there, I can't have nothing. And that's that. I don't know. At the time when I did it before, hey, it was a different story. But now I'm like, oof, don't know. It's easy to do a crime and transport them to Mexico, Sunshine Lady says. Yes, they literally sometimes don't check you. Some of those Border Patrol agents on that side of the border, you can even pay off. You got a couple $100 in your pocket, just American? Here you go. Here you go. To them, that's a month works of pay almost. Said they were sent to by News Nation. Interesting. Nina says, I feel like Nanos made this tip up, or is acting up on now that he arrested the streamers wrongfully to cause a distraction that, yeah, he was working to look for Watch, we're all looking at Mexico in like some sort of way something gets found at the house now because nobody's out front streaming. Oh, guess what, guys? Something's at the house now. Oh, okay. Yvonne says, yes, other people were hung up on. Yes. Like I said, I know I'm not the only one. When this first happened, the first week, I don't know if they were just bombarded with calls or what, but yeah, I literally got hung up on. And then I called back. Then I got put on hold. I was on hold at least 40 something minutes. I was on hold forever. Matter of fact, I was making a YouTube video while I was on hold. And it takes me about an hour to make a video sometimes, or sometimes a little more than that. But I'm making a video, finish up the video, and I'm looking at my phone. I forgot I was on hold with them. I hung up the phone, then sent the email. First time watching, following you from Arizona. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you for joining in. I appreciate that. I would ask you where at in Arizona, but you don't have to give up your location. I'm just curious because I am pretty well familiar with Arizona. From Phoenix to Tucson to right there at the border. I'm familiar. Kitty, hey, if you remember way back in February where they were fighting going down to the border of Mexico to Tucson, then to Phoenix. I think they recovered Nancy's body at that time. And interesting theory. Interesting theory. Beck says in Mexico, they have a billboard of Nancy without a picture of the porch guy. Interesting. Didn't know that. No way, Jose. I wouldn't go to Mexico if someone paid for it. Is what? Yeah, you scared? You're scared, huh? You ain't going to Mexico. Ray, learn Espanol. After all that, so many Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans here. I know. And the funny thing is, I grew up in Los Angeles, California, so you got a lot of Mexicans there. You know what the issue was? I just never could pronounce the words. I can't. Like I said, I have a hard time pronouncing English words, let alone a different language. So I had a hard time pronouncing the words. So because I had a hard time pronouncing them, it was always just hard for me to learn. I know cuss words. I know if somebody's cursing at me in Spanish. I know that for a fact. Are they investigating in Mexico, or is Mexico helping out with the investigation? Great question. So far, to my knowledge, I don't think they're really saying exactly like who is. So far, we know they're volunteers looking for her, but the volunteers are getting help and getting security from somebody. The reason why they're getting, now, I don't know if this is true. I'm just going to tell you from my prior experience. The areas they're searching, they need security. And what I mean by security, I'm not talking about local police. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about a security guard. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about corrupt security. I'm talking about possibly maybe cartel. Maybe because the areas they're searching, people don't step foot into, and you're not supposed to be in these certain little areas, okay? These killing fields, which I described to you guys earlier, you're not supposed to be in there. Because if you are in there, you're going to end up with them. So I noticed they said security is provided, but I noticed they didn't say what type of security. They didn't say a company. They didn't say police. They didn't say anything. So what I'm thinking is this security wants to stay hidden and private and don't want to be on camera. So that means it's probably somebody corrupt that's escorting them through these places. Because when I went through the tunnel, you think I just randomly went through the tunnel? Like, oh, here's a tunnel at the house. No, I had to get escorted. I had to get escorted. These guys remember in COVID, everybody's walking around with the mask? Pretty much that's how they walked around. They had the things you put on your neck, but you can lift up on your head. Hats, those, glasses, 6 shooters on the waist. No joke, people. No joke. Escorting you to the house that has the tunnel. And there is no laughing. There's no small talk. There's none of that. None of that going on. Yeah, I'm reading an article right now, and yeah, none of these places are saying exactly, let me see if I can find something else, because none of them are actually saying who is escorting them. I'm noticing that.
Hey guys.
They are saying private companies, but they're not, or security.
New developments tonight.
Let's see. But they're not saying who. Let's see what this one says.
Tonight we begin with news coming out of Nogales, Mexico. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sean Mooney. We're told that a search group there received an anonymous tip a month ago in the Nancy Guthrie case. The Buscando Corazones Collective, a volunteer search group, tells us the tipster told them that a body matching Nancy Guthrie's description could be found in the Mariposa area near Nogales, Sonora. The group says they received the first call from the tipster on May 10th, but a search of the area on May 16th turned up nothing. We are also told the caller reached out a second time describing another area to search within that region. The second search also turned up nothing. A third search is now scheduled for early next week. The Pima County Sheriff's Department tells us that Chris Nanos and the FBI have heard the news through media outlets, but they have not heard from Mexican authorities directly. They're reaching out, they tell us now, and as soon as we have more details, we will bring them to you.
A very important story to get to.
So, actually, let me, I'm gonna answer your question, Major. I'm gonna answer that question for you. I don't know if you heard that wording. Pima County and Nanos said they haven't heard from Mexico authorities. Haven't heard, as in like they're sitting back waiting. They were sitting back waiting for the phone call. And that they're going to now try and reach out. Why weren't they reaching out a long time ago? They should have been reaching out a long time ago. They were sitting back waiting for them to call. It's kind of almost how they put that. That's weird. That was a little weird. I don't know if they meant to word it that way, but that's kind of how I took it. Major says, I still want to see the warrant or probable cause evidence that led them to Carlos and the other guy. From my source inside Pima County, I can tell you exactly what apparently led them to Carlos and Luke. This is something that they've not talked about too much on social media, right? So Luke already has a charge from last year with Kayla for they got busted in a Walmart with drugs and weapons, all right, from like a year ago. And that case or part of the case or whatever has never been concluded. I guess it's still active. It's still going on. All right. Well, Luke and Kayla were already being followed. Already. So before Nancy Guthrie was even abducted, wherever you want to call it, they were already being followed. They were already being listened to on phone, all kind of things already. All right. Now, I don't know exactly why they chose to pull him over at Culver's, but they did a cell phone data drop. Okay. So basically, they take all the cell phone numbers that ping and hit a certain tower, you know. So we know that Luke's family has a house that's not far from Nancy Guthrie's house, okay? So, of course, Luke's phone is going to hit that cell phone tower and be stored in that data. So when they did that cell phone data drop, because Luke was already being followed and they were suspicious of him because of what he got busted, that's when he got pulled over. Carlos allegedly was the same thing. He delivered packages in that area. And when they did the cell phone data drop, Carlos technically lives, you know, closer to the Mexico border. And then they, you know, detain him. Now, if I don't know if you guys remember what Carlos said. A lot of people, some people, they didn't catch this. Remember, Carlos said he was being followed. Do you guys remember that? When Carlos was doing his DoorDash or Uber Eats, he said he was being followed. All right. So they never pulled him over. They were just following him. And if you remember, he said the sheriff or whatever that was following him was like a different county than the county he was in. So he decided to pull over, like, why are you guys following me? And then that's when all hell broke loose and they went in and did all this or whatever. But they did a cell phone data drop, and allegedly this is what led them to these two being, you know, detained, arrested. Now, this is what I was told. I don't know if there's any more that goes to the story, but this is what I was told. I feel like this is a Netflix series, something new every day. You are correct. Yvonne says, escort through the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Wait, who's in here speaking? Is that Spanish? Learn basic Spanish, Ray. Como es liam? Donde viva cuentes enos tian? All right, Becky. Okay, Becky. All right. Okay. I get you got your margarita next to you. Alex might have got himself into a better position. Possibly. You know what that's going to depend on? It's going to depend on the lawyer that Alex gets. It's going to depend on the lawyer. Because if he ain't got a good lawyer, it depends on the lawyer he's going to get. They can find Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden, but can't find Nancy. And they can find Saddam Hussein in a manhole with Reese's Pieces peanut butter cups in Iraq. I didn't even know they sold Reese's Pieces peanut butter cups in Iraq. Didn't even know that. But if you guys remember, he was in there with Reese's Pieces peanut butter cups. He just got released with no bail and picked up more dirt for the case. A lot more, actually. Nanos does not care. What exactly they mean match Nancy Guthrie's description? Does they mean they said she was wearing and only law enforcement? No, yeah, because they never told us what. You know what? Now that I think about it, hey, so for you guys that are new, Julia Justice Talks. She helps me do a lot of my research. You could say she's an assistant right here at Fugitive TV, okay? We talk, me and Julia talk every day, probably 40, 50 times a day, every day, okay? And always saying each other information back and forth. Julia, give me a missing person case. Can you think of one, Julia, where we had a missing person case where they never described what they were wearing? Where they never described what they were wearing. Think about it. Nancy Guthrie, we never got described what she was wearing. Can we think of a case where we never got information on what that person was wearing? It was YouTubers that found Gabby's van. You are correct. And Gab, and that whole thing happened an hour south of me. All of that happened an hour south of me. Alex probably got good intel and oh, well, you know what? That's gonna depend. That might depend if he actually made it outside of the holding cells. So if he actually made it to like an actually pod where you can write him, so that might depend on who's in there. Like if he's with the holding cell where everybody's just got arrested with him, so that's gonna depend. Wolf Moon says, Julia, you rock. All they said is she had PJs on. They did they say that? I don't even remember her saying that. Let me see. I don't even remember that. Nancy Guthrie. Let's see. Nancy Guthrie missing. I don't even remember that. Let's see what this says. Pima County Sheriff's Department. Age 84 years old. Sex female. Height 5'05". Weight 150. Hair color brown. Eye color blue. Last seen evening of January 31st, 2026 at her residence near East Skyline Drive and North Campbell Avenue. Unknown what clothing she may be wearing. Look, you heard it here. Unknown what clothing she may be wearing. Straight from Pima County. You guys saw me Google this. I didn't AI the image or anything. Straight from Pima County. Last seen evening of January 31st, 2026 at her residence near East Skyline Drive in North Campbell Avenue. Unknown what clothing she may be wearing. Unknown. So if they knew she was wearing PJs, like Savannah said in her interview, why didn't they put on here pajamas? Guys, am I the only one? Like, that's weird? Am I the only one saying that's weird? If they knew she had pajamas on, why didn't they put in a description, missing person, last seen, she possibly has pajamas on. So at least now we know we're looking for an older woman with pajamas. Let's see what this one says. Let's see. So that was from Pima County. Let's see what this says. Wait. Where's the image at? Right here. What does this say? This one right here is from the FBI. They got it all blurry. See if I can get a clearer image. There we go. All right. Let's see what the FBI says. FBI is offering an award of up to $50,000 for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie or arrest conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. Details. Phoenix Field Office of Pima County Sheriff's Department, Arizona, are investigating disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, last seen at her residence in the Catalina Foothills neighborhood of Tucson, Arizona, on the evening of January 31st. She is considered to be a vulnerable adult who has difficult walking, has a pacemaker, and needs daily medication for a heart condition, but no mention of clothing. No mention of clothing. No mention of clothing, guys. No mention of clothing. Why? If they knew she had PJs on. All right, guys. See, so you can see in real time, okay? So nobody can say this is fake. I went to missingandexploitedchildren.org, clicked on the very first girl who's missing since June 11th, Christina James Fling, out of Fairfax County, Virginia, 16 years old. Watch this description. Christina was last seen wearing a white hoodie. That's the first thing they tell you. Last seen wearing a white hoodie with New York City in blue written on it, black shirts, white socks, white Crocs. She has a medical condition that requires medication and may be in need of medical attention. Maybe needed of attention. What is this? What's going on here? They got the medical, look, let's go back to Nancy. Let's go back to look. And at the end, she is considered to be a vulnerable adult who has difficulty walking, has a pacemaker, and needs daily medical for a heart condition. But there's no mention of PJs, no nightgown, no robe. She might not have shoes on. None of that. Then you go to Christina. Last seen wearing a white hoodie with New York City in blue written on it, black shorts, white socks, white Crocs. She has a medical condition that requires medication and may be in need of medical attention. People, why didn't we get this information to begin with? Why we gotta wait months later for Savannah to make the whatchamacallit, the interview, to find out she had pajamas on? Look at this one. Amari Lynette Saunders, missing since June 12th, Newport News, Virginia. Another Newport News, Virginia, 16 years old. Amari was last seen wearing a black dress. Amari was last seen wearing a black dress. Why is it important for them, if this person is missing, to hide the details of what she possibly could be wearing? Why is it that important? Let's click on another one. Just click on another one. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Dylan Yaw Garcia Naves, another Virginia, missing. Wow, a lot of kids are missing for Virginia. What's going on? But look, Dylan was last seen wearing all black. They at least describe. At least you know you're looking for a 12-year-old kid in all black. At least you know you're looking for a 16-year-old in Crocs. At least you know you're looking for Amari in a black dress. We'll do one more. I just want to see if one of these don't have the clothing. I just want to see. All right, so we got one. We got one out of the 4 that does not have the clothing. It says Ezekiel was last seen on June 11th, 2026. We got 1 out of the 4 that doesn't have the clothing. Why wouldn't they have the clothing for Ezekiel? Maybe whoever made the report didn't know what clothing they had on. I don't know. But we got 1. Sophia Rodriguez. Sophia's last seen wearing a gray hoodie, jeans. He also had a black book bag. I think it means she, but she also had a black book bag. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know. Kuna says, so many in Virginia. Yes, every kid I clicked on, every single kid I clicked on was Virginia. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 was Virginia. You know what? Technically, the whole first page, how many is on the first page? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Looks like 20 kids. I want to say maybe 15 out the 20 on the first page is from Virginia. And as you saw, all of them but one I clicked on, only one of them didn't have the description of what they were wearing. Was the anonymous call just a diversion? What do you think? That is hey. I'm actually finding out some of those 911 calls about Alex and Juice. Some of those calls aren't coming from the residents at all, apparently. Some of those calls are not even coming in from those residents. Who's calling in allegedly 911 on them? Excuse my language, but it's a whole shit show going on in Pima County. Now, y'all know I don't really curse on here, but I had to say it. I had to say it. I had to say it. Juice is a near saint, and Juice is smart. Juice is live streaming from his house right now. He's live. He said, "I ain't going back. I ain't risking it." Juice said, "I am not risking it." Miss Model says your street smarts and thought process is brilliant, and you're charismatic and charming. That's worth more than handsome on any day. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Just brighten up my day. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Comment of the day right there. Comment of the day. Wow. So you guys saw it here. And that was something I thought about a while ago. And I thought about that. I was like, why? When Savannah came out the interview and said her pajamas and no shoes, and I thought, and you know what? And it didn't click at first. Then I thought about it. I was like, wait, out of all these missing cases that I do, that's 2 things that is missing from this. The family doing her own organized search party. Her church doing an organized search party. She was supposed to be loved and cared for by so many people, but none of them did an organized search. Only YouTubers out there searching. Police searched the first day for 4 or 5 hours or something like that. Called it off. And the Cajun Navy, they wanted to go search, but I don't think they ever made it, right? The mamas from Mexico wanted to come up and search. They never made it. And we don't get a description of what she was wearing. I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is why I think that somebody's hiding something. Somebody knows something. And they don't want us to know it. Somebody's hiding something. East Coaster. Stop. Stop it, East Coaster. Stop it, East Coaster. Oh, that was funny. Yep, no searches allowed. You're correct. No searches allowed. Why? Why, when you got people that want to come out for free and search? Why? You know how many cases I've done in Texas? In Texas, EquiSearch has found them. And they're a nonprofit organization. They went out, searched, and found the person. Police never told them no. They went out and searched. And not by themselves, searched with the family and volunteers. I don't know, guys. I just keep looking at all these kids in Virginia that's missing. This is sad. Very sad. Why is there so many kids missing in Virginia? I'm going to do a video on this. I swear the first page is 20 kids. 15 of them are from Virginia. This is insane. Look at this, guys. Look. Look at this. Now that I got everybody's attention, look at these children. Look at this. Armari Sanders, Virginia. Dylan Garcia's Virginia. Christina Fling, Virginia. Ezekiel Marshall, Virginia. Sophia Rodriguez, Virginia. Navia Pratt, Virginia. Sammy, Virginia. Annabella Burnett down here, she's Indiana. Symphony, Virginia. Lyric, Virginia. Sanya, Virginia. Yasmel is also Virginia. These kids that I'm scrolling, guys, all Virginia except for Alec. Alex is Texas. Gianni is Philadelphia. Oh, actually, this girl's right here by me. Wow, actually, she's where I'm at. Missing child, 16 years old. Rihanna. Call Tampa police if you've seen her. Kennedy down here is Virginia. Then you have Lydia Decker, who is from Washington. The whole first page is pretty much Virginia. I gotta post this. No one is going to traffic an 84-year-old disabled woman. That's the weirdest comment of the day. Congratulations. Oh, man. Oh, I love a sense of humor, man. I love a sense of humor in tragic times. This is probably why I look so young. How many are runaways? I wonder. I wonder too. How many of them? A lot of them are 16 and 15, I'm realizing. A lot of them are 16 and 15. So they could be runaways. A lot of them are around 16, 15. But then you have a couple that are 12. One's 12. Who's the youngest that's on this page? The youngest so far is two 12-year-olds. Those are the youngest. The oldest is 17, it looks like. Or actually, there's two that's 17. 3. Which is sad. Which is sad, guys, because the ones that are 17, if something out there has happened to them, once they turn 18, the police are kind of fall back a little bit. Because like, oh, they're an adult. They're going to fall back. They might still have the missing person thing up, but they're going to fall back. That's the sad part about it. Oh, guys. Well, I'm glad that I can, at least in the middle of Nancy Guthrie, put a little bit of spotlight on these kids who are missing. Because Nancy's not the only one out there. We don't even know what the hell's going on with her. But see what y'all got going on. School is out. Unless you got summer school. Unless you got summer school. Yeah. Oh, y'all are trolling in there. Y'all are trolling. Y'all are trolling. But you guys, I want to say thank you for tuning in. And for you guys that are new, thank you for subscribing. I gotta take off. I gotta go. Shout out to the chat. You guys are lively, asking great questions. Shout out to the people who called. I appreciate that. You guys are what makes Fugitive TV go around. You guys and Julia. Julia makes Fugitive TV go around. Justice Talks with Julia. She's the real star of Fugitive TV. Shout out to Julia. Hey, Ray, remember that episode you did on that manufacturer pacemaker profits on those will go up to? Seriously? Wait. Hold up. What did you just say? Remember the episode you did on the pacemaker manufacturer? Profits on those will go up to 7.7 billion. Or you mean they went up in 7.7 billion in 2023? Seriously? Wow. I got to look that up. I'm going to look that up. I am going to look that up. I did not know that. Thank you for that. I'm going to look that up. Interesting. I think you all need to get your head. Let me read this. I think you all need to get your heads together and meet up. Y'all together might solve Nancy's case. Do you think they really want us to solve the case? Do you think they really want us to solve the case? Do you think if you took some of the people who have these different angles, different resources, put us together in one roof in Tucson, and then you have the people who are actually out there doing things, you know, like Mark the Shark is out there, or whatever it is, Drone. Who was it? Exploring with Jim is out there riding a motorcycle literally through the desert, exploring with Jim. So you know, and he knows the backgrounds of the desert. And you put all these people together that have their different resources. Might solve a lot of things. Some of us might end up missing. I'll be able to tell. All might die in a fire in the building. That is why they put the YouTubers out. YouTubers have solved a lot since I've been doing this. We've solved a lot of cases. We solved a lot of cases. I've solved a couple myself, and you guys know that before it even started. If I had a badge and a gun, the suspect would have got arrested a long time ago in some of these cases. But hey, who am I? I'm just a YouTuber, right? Just a YouTuber. They don't want it solved. No, they don't. They don't. But I want to say thank you guys. This was a great live. I gotta get off of here. I gotta handle some business and do things like that. Go back to reality. All right. You guys take care of one another. All right. Take care of one another. All right. Love one another. Watch your surroundings. I don't want to have to do any reports or channels or videos or go looking for you guys. All right. I don't want to do anything like that. So make sure you watch your surroundings. All you guys are welcome. No, not out yet. It's done. I'm just waiting for a publishing company to give. So I'm waiting for the publishing. My book right here, Rare Redemption. It's my whole story from beginning to my very first memory is in this book to me growing up as a kid, which is me and my mom. Everything we went through to even when I went on the run, 15 years, all that's in here. Everything I did to go on a run is on here. Even afterwards, to even when I had to go back to jail after I went on all that. It's all in here pretty much. All right. But the publishing company, I'm waiting for them to give me a response back to see what kind of deal they want to give me. If I don't like the deal, then I'm going to drop it myself. All right. It all depends on what the deal looks like. But thank you guys so much. You guys have been great. Ray Marcel, Fugitive TV, and I'm out.